This is a lovely $30 million mansion in Malibu in Southern California. This is a bejeweled glove that Michael Jackson wore on the tour to support his album Bad. It's a crystal-encrusted Michael Jackson glove. Same guy who owned the jagillion-dollar mansion and Michael Jackson's bejeweled glove also owns all of these cars, which are very nice cars. And it's not just Porsches and Ferraris. He also owns some of the rarest cars in the world, including some Swedish thing called a Koenigsegg. I think that's how you say it. Koenigsegg. Koenigsegg. He had one that was one of only 7 ever produced. It cost something like $3 million for a car. Same guy owned all this junk. The mansion, the rare cars, Michael Jackson's bejeweled glove. He also apparently owned 6 life-sized Michael Jackson statues. Not all that big, actually. Michael Jackson wasn't all that. Anyway, all the same guy. And this is the part where I tell you the good news, that the guy who owns all of this stuff is not the latest announced nominee for the Trump cabinet. No, it is the vice president of a country called Equatorial Guinea. His dad is the president. He's the longest serving president of any country on earth. He's been in power for 36 or something years. Last year, he appointed his son to be vice president, and so the son got famous for something other than having Michael Jackson's bejeweled glove. Equatorial Guinea is one of the poorest nations on earth. 3/4 of the population lives below the poverty line. Most of the country lives on less than $2 a day. But Equatorial Guinea has oil, a lot of it. And starting in the mid-90s, they started getting huge royalty checks from oil companies who were pumping oil out of that country. And because of that oil money, on paper, Equatorial Guinea is doing great. On paper, they've got the highest GDP per capita in Africa. But none of that money gets to the people. Over 3/4 of its population is below the poverty line. The government spends less on education and health than even the rest of sub-Saharan Africa. But for the ruling family, things have never been better. This past April, the country held an election, and that longest-serving president in the world, he won with 94% of the vote. It's actually a little less than what he won by in 2009, when he got 97% of the vote. The president's family runs everything. His eldest son, the guy that loves the cars and the Michael Jackson junk, he's the vice president. The president's other son runs the oil ministry. The first lady's brother is the head of the state-owned oil company, GE Petrol. And as that family has made itself fabulously wealthy off the resources of that country, while the people of that country starve, it's now newly relevant here in our politics that the company that handed over all the money, the company that pumped all that money into Equatorial Guinea, the biggest oil company in the country, the company that brought the first oil field there into production in 1995, that company is, say it with me now, Exxon. Still does business there. Their own website, they brag about being the largest oil producer in that country. They are partnered with the state-run oil company run by the First Lady's brother. And if you want to know how the oil money for that country ended up not in that country, but instead just in the pockets of the ruling family, turns out it's really simple. Turns out when Exxon would pay Equatorial Guinea for allowing them to operate there and pump oil there, they would dump millions and millions and millions of dollars into the ruling family's personal Riggs bank account in Washington, D.C. Right through 2004, they were doing that when U.S. authorities discovered that bank account, and that became the subject of a U.S. Senate investigation. And that is now newly relevant because the